Kindergartners this morning for 27 minutes, and they were really interested in the state of the county. Actually, I talked about the olden days, and having 27 minutes and rapt attention. They were really interesting, and I talked about houses with no running water and no bathrooms in the house. And this little boy held up his hand and said, "Did you have an outhouse?" So when you think they're not being taught anything, somebody's teaching them something. You know, a lot of people asked me back early when I was running for mayor, why I was running for mayor, and there were two schools of thought. Why would you want to do that? And then the other one was, so how are you doing? I have a great friend who's mayor in Smith County, and I've known him for a long time, and he's, anytime you ask him about being mayor, he says, "I love my job." And so I picked up on that line, and if you ask me how it's going, I'm going to tell you, I have really enjoyed the first 6 months and 2 weeks. We have a great county, a lot going on, and I'm going to try to cover as much in the time, but I'm notorious for staying on time. The park grant, and lots of people ask me about the park grant. We just bid or did the scoring on 3 companies that are redoing Trade Park on the playground equipment, and we're spending. Is that upside down? We're spending $1.2 million on this spot right here, which is ARP money. Everyone know what ARP money is? COVID money. It's a matching grant. So we had $600,000 and the county matched $600,000. And Trade Park is really going to come to life, but here's the deal, not this summer. One thing I've had to learn fairly quickly as a mayor is a concept called the speed of government. Everybody with me? Yeah. In business, if you want something done, you do it. In government, you start the process. And so, even though we're bidding on the playground equipment now, it will be probably winter before the project is finished. And so we're looking at next spring. And one of the things I'm looking into, because the state condemned most of the playground equipment down there, is how can we use part of it this summer, because people are ready to take the kids to the park. The community development block grant has been approved for to the tune of about $525,000 to remodel and actually take one house and tear it down and start all over on the streets of Morrison, Foxhall, Greentop. About 7 or 8 homes are going to be remodeled up there. That's in the works. TDOT has approved the multimodal grant, which is going to create new sidewalks from Main Street on Broadway all the way to McMurray. That's a 95% matching grant, so it's going to be a 2-year project. Everyone familiar with the pool hall building attached to the bridge? Some of you too young to remember the pool hall. That building was taken over by the county last year. Then TDOT agreed to take it and tear it down, but because it's attached to the bridge, now you're coming down Broadway, you're crossing the bridge, the pool hall is a building that's attached to the bridge. Okay, they agreed to tear it down, but environmental got involved, and so environmental had to come in because there might be lead-based paint and there might be asbestos, and so that's turned into a 2-year project. So, as most of you know, the turning lane up on McMurray is almost done. Almost done, but was that been a 2-year project too? I'm telling you, the wheels of government grind very slowly, but they're grinding. Someone had a question about the planning office. Ms. Rosalie is holding down the fort as we make some adjustments, and we're committed to keeping everything moving smoothly there. Mark Beeler is the interim fire chief at the fire department right now. Downtown improvements. I only made one campaign promise when I ran for mayor, and that was we would cut back the curbs downtown. That's still in the works, and it's going to happen. But that project has not been signed off by TDOT. We call it Streetscape, and until they sign completely off on the project, we can't go in and make some adjustments. But I've talked to a number of people at TDOT, and that's in the works, and it's going to happen. We will have an exciting Christmas tree next year. Did anyone hear the Christmas tree this year referred to as the Charlie Brown Christmas tree? it was kind of sad, if you remember. Well, we've, next year we'll have a 22-foot Christmas tree downtown. It's already been purchased by private money, and I think it's gonna look spectacular. We're also negotiating to light up the courthouse, and really bring a lot of lights to the downtown. We're also, with private money, purchasing a number of concrete flower pots, and we're gonna have some color downtown this summer. Negotiating with some of the downtown businesses, and the ladies at the senior center have agreed to water the plants. So, I told somebody that the other day, and they said, "Good luck to you." But we're gonna, you know, if the mayor has to water the plants, we're gonna have color downtown. The finances of the county are really in good shape right now. Okay, we still have $1.6 million of ARPA funds, which we can use in matching grants, and after the COVID thing passed, the government allowed us to open up that money and use it as we see fit. And so that amount of ARPA funds is still there. We have had no property tax increase in Trousdale County for 10 years.
We hadn't had to, it's all.
And actually, I think mayors have been evaluated by the fact that they do not raise property tax. But I will tell you, the can has been kicked down the sidewalk for a number of years now, and at some point in time, we'll probably have to revisit that. Because, number of reasons. You know what I found out when I became mayor? Everyone wants more. Employees want more, citizens want more services, and taxpayers want more relief. And there's a dynamic there. And everyone knows we're going to build a new jail because ours has been decertified. When we began that project 3 years ago, we were talking in terms of a 150-bed facility, 10 to 20 acres of land, price tag of $25 million. I can promise you it wouldn't have been 25 because I've talked to a number of counties, and what started out as 25 would probably ended up as 35. And so after interest rates went up, we did some numbers, and 25 million at 4.5%, which is about the cheapest money you can get through government programs now. 25 million at 4.5% over 20, amortized over 20 years, would translate into an annual payment of $2 million. If our county had to make a $2 million payment every year, it would put incredible pressure on other services. So what we've done is we backed up and said, okay, let's look at what we can afford and approach it from that standpoint. So crunching numbers now and looking at the possibility of what we can build that the county can afford, I am convinced, and I've talked to law enforcement, the Law Enforcement Academy representatives about this. I'm not sure the answer is just to continue to build larger jails. At some point in time, we have to address how can we suppress the number of prisoners that we're keeping. Our county is under tremendous pressure from CoreCivic because whenever there's a murder out there, it is a Trousdale County murder. Is everyone with me? It happened in Trousdale County, it is a Trousdale County murder, and Trousdale County is responsible for that prisoner. What is happening, and the sheriff would verify this, is when those high crime, that's the best word I can use, prisoner is transferred to a facility, to a safer facility, then we're having to bring them back continuously for hearings, and sometimes several times, which ties up 2 officers, full day. So we're going to renegotiate or begin to talk to CoreCivic about how can we best finance the extra financial pressure it's putting on our county. As you all know, the wheel tax had a sunset provision that when the school was built, the wheel tax would go away. It did. Anyone bought your tags lately? $10 or less, right? At some point, yeah, it's 5. At some point in time, we will have to address how we're going to pay for this jail, which means we'll have to look at some form of tax increase. I'm not sure, but that's not up to me. That's up to your county commissioners. When I went to mayor training school with the state back in the beginning, this is what they told us. A mayor has 0 authority but multiple responsibilities.
Yeah.
I am learning those responsibilities, but at the same time, we'll have to visit, how are we gonna pay for this jail? I know Sheriff Russell has asked for 4 more deputies in the next budget because our county's growing, and especially the western part of the county. And to have a law enforcement presence out there is becoming more and more important. The water department has just done a 20-year master plan, which would include a new water treatment plant. The federal government has made available about $170 or $80 million for the region. Our advantage in Trouson County is we sit on the river. We got the water, which means there's the possibility we can sell water to Westmoreland and Lafayette and Portland because of the strategic place where we sit. Enbridge. Anybody heard of Enbridge? It's a division of Texas Eastern. They're in the process of getting approval from FERC. These acronyms drive me crazy. Federal Energy, whatever. To build a pumping station and a substation just on the edge of town. I won't name the name of the farm, but they're proposing to put 80 acres of solar panels, which will provide half the electricity to drive the pumping station. This is a Texas Eastern project, which is subcontracted from TVA to put a 30-inch pipe for 117 miles from Bass Road to Kingston, because that steam plant, which is driven by coal, is going to be converted to a gas plant. So the numbers look impressive as to the tax benefit for the county. Enbridge had the Baker Institute at the University of Tennessee crunch the numbers, and the number they've thrown out is $2.5 million per year, which will decrease as the equipment and the assets are depreciated. So we haven't got a firm grip on the exact numbers, but to build this station is much like the rock quarry issue, which is the county needs the tax money, but most citizens say, but don't build it next to my house. So most of the people like supported the rock quarry lived on the other side of the county. And most of the people who are supporting, or most, I won't say most, supporting the Enbridge project is, well, as long as it's over there, it won't bother me. But more and more acreage is gonna be put on solar panels. It's not just coming, it's here. And there's a real push by the Green New Deal to have more and more clean energy. And I know many of you are concerned about the fact that farmland is being gobbled up for houses and solar panels. And whether if you're interested in agriculture, the cow herd has really been decreased over the last 2 or 3 years, and usually it comes back. Because so many of these farms are being liquidated now that I don't think the farmland's out there to bring the cow herd back. And my guy at the grocery told me this week when I was buying ribeyes, he said in the next 2 or 3 weeks you're gonna see beef prices he said probably $2 a pound right away. And so that's gonna be an interesting thing for us to face. The hotel is back on the drawing board. Remember, what, 4 years ago, we did a study about having a hotel come, 5 years ago? I guess COVID had something to do with that. Well, anyway, we've contacted the company called Cobblestone that builds hotels in the niche markets. It's a hotel very similar to a Hampton Inn or a Holiday Inn. And money's already been raised to build that, and the land has been spotted and agreed to. And so I think it's gonna be very exciting that we should have a hotel here in the next couple of years, which would open up travel ball if we indeed can expand our park to what I call a cloverleaf, which is a 4-ball field complex with a concession stand in the center. Hotel and travel ball would bring a lot of traffic to our town. And I see the possibility of connecting downtown to our park to where people could even come back and forth from the downtown to the park when they come in on the weekends. Yes, sir.
How big is that recreation center?
Which one?
The one that in the bottom right.
This one?
Right over here.
This one?
Yeah.
You talking about Trey Park?
Well, no, the recreation center.
Oh, it's not a part of this project right now, and so we really don't have any specs on it. The park, if you wanna know what it's gonna look like, is the rubberized asphalt surface. So if you want to come up and get an idea of what Trey Park's gonna look like next spring, this is the company that scored the highest. So if you'd like to invest in the hotel, talk to Falcon, because it's about an $8 million project, and you need to raise about, what, 1/3 of the money, Paul?
3.5 to 4 would be nice.
I'm sorry?
3.5 to 4 would be nice.
Okay, before you take it to a bank, but, I think it's a necessary part of the community. Ward School, we're talking about some things of the possibility of raising the money to, first of all, resurface the gym floor to bring it up to speed and make it more attractive, and we think there's a lot of potential up there. There's 8 acres of property there, which I know the committee that kind of governs the school would be interested in a walking trail, if we could connect it to the downtown. Just a lot going, a lot of possibilities, right? And more people are moving in with really great ideas. But let me tell you about ideas, okay? If ideas don't have legs, they become wishful thinking, okay? And I have people bringing me ideas all the time, but I found the hardest part of this job is to keep things moving forward. Keep things moving. It takes incredible energy to keep things moving forward. If you want mediocre results, as mayor, this is a piece of cake, okay? I mean, you can be mayor for 4 years and get by. If you want to do a great job, it's a very challenging job, but really fun. And so far it's been fun, and I'm gonna keep it that way. I'm most interested in your input, but I also need worker bees, okay? It's gonna take tremendous energy to do what we wanna do, and everyone knows for a long time, downtown has looked really sad.
Yeah.
And for people who are moving in here, when they go to see downtown, they say, it really looks sad down there. But where there's a will, there's a way, and we'll keep moving forward to make things happen downtown. Questions? Yes, sir.
Mention the Goose Gala.
Oh, thank you. The Goose Gala is back on track, by the way. We're getting ready to have our first meeting, pulling our committee together. The Parkers have agreed to let us have it in their big warehouse out here on the East Main. Concrete floor, weatherproof. We think it can really be made to look fun. And the Goose Gala committee is committed to spending money to enhance downtown. And so we're really excited about that. Maybe possibly down the road, making it a 2 or 3 day event. And once things really get going, the possibility to put a cover over Court Street to make it like a convention center downtown. Mike Potts is really working on downtown sound. He's gonna have 4 events this spring. That's really exciting. Lots of vendors, and so we've got a lot of possibilities on activities we're gonna have downtown. Somebody else? I missed something? Yes, sir.
Have you heard any talk about the marina?
We did a survey on the marina several years ago, and that one got dropped. But it's not on the front burner right now. But there's some talk about down on Taylor's Landing, down where the stadium. Some of the things I'm doing now is to go back and dig up some things that money was spent to research it and never got legs. Okay, someone else. I'm having this thing called Coffee with the Mayor, and I'm surprised at how few people come. And I even changed the time from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock for the people who don't get up on Saturday morning. I'm assuming when the issues get hotter, it'll be kind of like you're talking about being kicked in the face. I'm assuming if the tax issues get harder, more people will come. And I only have one rule for coming to have coffee with the mayor. If you're coming to complain, don't come. Get an appointment and you can come and complain, but we're just exchanging ideas at those things, and I'd love for you to come. So what I try to do is have it on the Saturday after the commission meets, so if you have questions about issues, we can talk about it on Saturday morning. Any questions? It's a privilege to serve the county, I'll tell you. I ran for mayor for only one reason, and that was to improve our county. That's my passion, to make our county better and to serve our people and do what's best for the most. You're welcome to come to my office. I'm glad to see you. I've had some of the most interesting requests. From bed bugs, not for bed bugs, to control bed bugs. Yes, ma'am.
When and where is it called, when and where?
It's either the first or second Saturday after the court meets at the end of the month. So in April, we'll have it on our Facebook page. It's probably the first,
Second Saturday.
first Saturday in April.
And where
Someone
will that-
else?
Where will that be?
At the farmer's market. They let us we just have coffee, sit around and call it farmer's harvest, I'm sorry.
It is-
Farmer's harvest.
Yeah, this is from the newspaper is here.
I'm sorry?
The newspaper is still printing it first Saturday of the month here.
I've changed.
Really?
I've changed that. That should say farm
Okay.
farm.
All right.
We'll
Can I
get
have you
that
down,
changed.
Mr.
Hey, Paul,
Mayor,
it's a
I have
small
you down
town.
second Saturday because I want to consistently run something, but we'll put it as second Saturday because it seems like it's been that way, but if it's first, let me know.
It's a small town, Paul, you can find
Right,
me.
right. But I don't have the farmer's harvest now, I promise you.
Someone else? Got 2 minutes to one. Anybody else? Any questions? Comments? Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say my question, but, I know they finally got the lights up and running down at the ball fields. That was fantastic investment by the county. It's night and day difference down there. When you go look,
LED lights all over, yeah, that's part of the park project, the 1.2 million, yeah. Somebody else? Yes, sir.
Is there a way we have a statistic on maybe underprivileged kids in the county?
Oh, I'd have to ask that question.
Well, I just would like to provide.
I'd have to research for you, which I will.
Okay, I appreciate that. I just wanted to be able to
Andy, can you
provide
come
something
on?
for, you know, it's a way to self-defense, but a way to promote, building self-confidence and all that.
Okay, I'll find out for you. Somebody else? Anybody? Any ideas? Anything you'd like to see?
I didn't know if you, wanted to mention the faith-based initiatives trainings that are going on with the.
You want to tell us about it? When's the next meeting?
It's happening, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Last night was one of them, but faith-based initiatives came in from the state and did kind of a training with, local pastors and, faith-based organizations and things like that, so that they could provide, help me out, mental health sort of
Mhm.
issues, address those, because we're just getting mental health in our, community. So that is no charge to the community, and if you're interested, I would guess, would you guys have information on that? Do you have information on that?
The next one is on April 17th at the First Methodist Church.
Like I said, it's gonna be at First Methodist on April 17th. Way to go, Tim.
It's, trauma-informed care is the name of that class.
The,
But
fellowship-
each one is a little different, substance abuse training, suicide prevention, this one's trauma-informed care, but each one's a little different, but they're all kind of in the same vein.
April 17th.
April 17th, firehouse.
Okay. The Fellowship of Christian Athletes annual banquet is tonight. And Lee Smith, a former pro, tight end, is gonna be the speaker. My Sunday school class has a table and it's not full, so if you wanna come, we'll purchase your dinner and you can hear a professional speaker speak out at the high school at 5:30. If you'd like to come, I'm inviting you to come sit at our table. Somebody else? Mr. Richmond, where'd you go?
Who? Mr. Richmond was my dad.